Maui. In her shock, Quinn hadn't had time to process the proclamation, much less to ask if he wasn't her father, then who was? The confession was startling, and her mother's eyes had begged for forgiveness, even as the light in them faded away. The weeks that followed were heavy with grief, and in the moments when Quinn could set her sadness aside briefly, she'd searched through every document she could find in her mother's apartment, sorting through the tangled yet mundane details of a life now gone. While part of her struggled through the realization that she was truly alone in the world, or at least had no family to speak of, the other part of her felt the need to find some clue as to who her real father was. And why had her mother kept it a secret? To give herself the illusion she wasn't behaving obsessively or erratically, she told herself that she was simply putting her mother's affairs in order, ripping off the Band-Aid before she even had a chance to heal. With an intensity that would make her fiancé, Ethan, proud, Quinn sorted through years of hospital bills and treatment summaries, lists of medications, and books filled with fantasies of alternative medicines. Receipts. So many receipts. At the end, her mother had made sure to leave no bills behind for Quinn to have to deal with. No unpaid mortgage or car loans. No outstanding medical bills. All of it prepaid, even with a cushion in case she dragged on longer than the doctors predicted. How strange that she would receive a credit on the cost of her mother's death. That was something she couldn't even begin to process. After all the medical and business papers were dealt with and organized, she started on the boxes stashed under her mother's bed, sure that there she'd find a clue. Instead, she found box after box of old pictures, school papers, and crafts. Her mother had kept everything. It took hours, but Quinn looked through stacks of photos of her life, from kindergarten until college graduation, many of them of her and Maggie, her best friend from childhood. She picked up one and smiled. In the shot, the sun shone down on Maggie's hair, making it almost seem to be on fire, a red that flamed bright in her younger years before it began to lighten. The contrast between the two of them was evident. Quinn's golden brown, native Hawaiian skin a startling contrast to Maggie's pale, freckled face. Putting the photo aside, she dug deeper through brittle corsages and ticket stubs from the many events they'd attended together. So many memories, but nothing from her mother's earlier past. Quinn persisted. She started on her mother's jewelry box next, separating out the costume pieces to see if there was anything of value. She found a diamond stud earring, but couldn't find the match to it. Finally, she emptied the box and turned it over. And when she saw that one of the corners had come loose at the bottom, she pulled it and realized it was a false bottom. Underneath was a single photograph. In the picture, two young women dressed in graduation caps and gowns sat astride horses, their closeness evident in their body language and expressions. Even through the adolescent features, Quinn could tell one of them was definitely her mother. She turned the photo over and saw Carmen Crowe and me scribbled on it with a date of a year before Quinn was born. Who was Carmen Crowe? Quinn wished she'd pushed her mother more to talk about the past. Over the years, as Quinn grew older and more curious, her mom had only told her that Maui was a beautiful and magical place, but her childhood had been ugly. The few times Quinn had tried to squeeze more out of her had caused her mother to retreat into silence. It was clear that her mom had loved Maui, but whatever it was that had kept her from returning there must have been traumatic. Quinn had hoped one day her mother would be ready to talk about it. That day never came. But if Quinn could find this hopefully living, breathing person from the photo, it could help her find out something about her mother. Carmen was obviously someone important. Important enough that it was the only photo of her past she'd saved. So was she a best friend? Cousin? As though her mother's death wasn't hard enough to get over, Quinn was also spiraling because of the quietly explosive way she'd left. She couldn't quite believe